Okay, now we're recording. Let me go back and make you the host again.
Okay. Don't need these.
Okay, now you're the host and I'm still able to record.
Cool.
All right, so we got John Tatro back on the Zoom call. I posted a video like a week ago, and he gave us the rundown about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency and how it's being integrated into the gaming industry, and they're decentralizing the gaming industry, and people are now able to purchase products within the gaming ecosystem using decentralized finance technology. So we're gonna pick his brain a little bit more about what's happening with all this. John, didn't you posted recently on Facebook, and there was people making purchases of up to $1 million within the gaming ecosystem. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, there's been really two significant purchases. So the upcoming RPG game that isn't out yet, it's still under development. It's called Mirandus. It's ruled by 5 player monarchs. And so as part of being, you basically, to be one of these player monarchs, which is kind of like a king or a queen, it comes with a citadel, which is a huge deed that gets placed into the land of Mirandus. And basically what it is, it's a huge chunk of virtual real estate, if you will, that contains like all these subplots that you can rent out to other players. So the first one sold for $800,000 to a company called Polyant Games. They're going to be responsible for they're creating this technology. What they're doing is they're creating a bridge between DeFi and the gaming economy to create opportunities for players that have items to store their items in these vaults, which is essentially a smart contract, and provide that bridge to the world of decentralized finance. So like theoretically you could put your items in this vault. They could be rented out to other players, and then also they could be collateralized in the DeFi space, so you could be yield farming with some of these in-game items. A lot of this technology has yet to be built, but really what they're doing is like pioneering this space, and they're pretty bullish on NFTs, which are these non-fungible tokens, game assets, and whatnot. A second Citadel was also purchased not too long ago for 1.6 million. The person hasn't revealed who they are yet, and they will reveal themselves pretty soon. But even apart from that, there's things being sold all the time, from several $100s all the way up to several hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay. And last time you mentioned being able to earn passive income within this ecosystem from acquiring nodes. Could you elaborate on that a little more and maybe show us some of the results that you've been getting with your nodes?
Sure. So essentially what Gala Games is trying to do is create a decentralized ecosystem that is really owned and controlled by players. So, apart from playing the free game and, playing and winning Gala and sharing and earning Gala, there's a way to actually support the ecosystem. And any decentralized ecosystem is devised of some type of network of nodes. So currently right now, our nodes have a governance system involved where we vote on, what type of games we want to bring in. Currently, the nodes are mining. Soon, but not right now, nodes are going to provide some form of, consensus mechanism. Like, so I'll give you an example. Once Miranda starts up, and the plan is these guys want to make this game go, viral. They're gearing their game to really cater to millions of players, as opposed to like these games that just harbor to small communities. So, what can happen eventually is if we have a game where we have, millions of daily active users all doing commerce within our ecosystem, we need some type of decentralized system to, secure the network, one, vote on consensus mechanisms, and then also process and verify transactions. So, owning one of these nodes, you mine for Gala. In the future, once we have this volume, we're going to be processing and verifying transactions, which is another form of revenue. And not even including all of the NFTs, which stands for non-fungible tokens, that are actually kind of like airdrop to the node ecosystem. So there's a multitude of ways eventually that we're going to be able to capitalize on this. So right now, the only way we're capitalizing is through the actual mining of Gala token and getting NFT drops. Currently, I think there's about almost 22,000 nodes sold. There's only ever going to be 50,000 of these nodes, and these nodes are what's being called grandfather nodes. These are going to be like the granddaddy nodes of the network. Eventually, there'll be other like freemium type nodes that won't earn as much, but it kind of gives everybody a chance to, get their foot in the door and earn maybe 100th of what a grandfather node might have earned. Let's see. Nodes started off at like, about $1,000. They're up to like 4,600 right now. And, what we're seeing is people beginning to understand that, like, this isn't like really an investment opportunity in the sense that we've seen investment opportunities before. There's no like, guaranteed ROI from the company. The company's about building games, AAA games, and they're about building a decentralized network. And as part of that, you're rewarded. But there's no guarantees from the company. They actually can't make any type of claims that they'll, especially being a U.S. company, it's just not, it's not in the best interest of anybody for the company to make any type of claims. But with that being said, for supporting the network through node ownership, we are rewarded. And I can give you, some examples of what that looks like. Currently, here, let me see if I can, let me see, I'll show you what the node looks like. So, oh geez, I don't have my node up here. Let me show you the back office.
Okay.
All right, so let me pull this down. Let me go to an account that has 5 nodes on it here. Actually, we'll just stay in my account here. So I have a lot of nodes. I have about 29 nodes. Should be 30. I don't know why there's 29. Maybe one of them went off. I got to check. So essentially, you get a point for running a node. And so every day, I have Gala that goes into my, treasure chest. So I mined, 74,300 Gala. If we go over to here, we can look at the Gala price, 74,300. It's about $1,100 a day for having those 30 nodes, which it works out to be about $25 a day ish. It could be a little less, it could be a little more. So if you look at this, and I don't like to look at this from an ROI standpoint, I really like to look at this from like, you're supporting the early stages of an ecosystem that if they pull off what they say they're going to pull off, and they have a history of doing what they say, then this could be very lucrative. But with that being said, let's take a look at it, what it's doing currently. It's doing about $25 a day per node. So you'd be looking at like around like 6 months-ish break even, which is pretty good in terms of like, say what somebody would, who's used to investing in the stock market, they'd be happy with 6% a year, Now that's if the coin stays the same. I've seen the coin increase in price. Let's go to the the chart here and just take a look at what the coin's done. We've kind of seen this upward momentum, happen over the past several months here. Um, you know, how do I go back? I got the Zoom in the way. Well, basically, in the past, let's see, past 30 days, it's gone up about, over 1,300%, which is pretty good. And, if they continue to develop and if they continue to, do what they say they're going to do, which they have, then, this is a beautiful opportunity to get involved in the ecosystem of really a first AAA game development that's involved in the decentralization of the gaming industry, you know. Um, I
I
can
have a
do this.
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, $4,500, a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford that. Is it possible to just buy the Gala coins and then send them to your wallet within the video game ecosystem?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if we take a look over here, we look at the markets. So when you create a free Gala Games account, it's actually a gaming account, and then you kind of have like a separate private key wallet. It's an Ethereum wallet, so you can hold Ethereum, BAT, Gala, and some other of the in-game currencies. But if we look at here on CoinGecko, we can take a look at the market. So if somebody just wants to, speculate on the coin price, we have pairs over here at BitTrue. So what they would need to do is get a BitTrue account, and they could either, trade against XRP, BTC, or USDT. And then once they purchase that Gala, they can very easily, send it right over here to their Gala wallet.
Okay.
And this is all private key based. The company doesn't hold anything. There's no withdrawal from the company. This right here is like kind of like my web-based wallet, separate from the company, controlled by my own private key. And I think that's important. That's an important distinction when you're dealing with this. So it's not like, if the company goes bye-bye, which I don't ever think they will because they're building real stuff, I still have my private key. I mean, I can import this wallet into MetaMask, into Trust Wallet, into any, ERC20 compatible wallet.
Okay. So Gala coin is an ERC20 token.
Correct. It is.
Okay.
It is. And a lot of the NFTs, like the non-fungible tokens that, are being used in our games, they're ERC 1155 tokens, which it can mean like a semi-fungible or a non-fungible token. It just means it has unique properties to it. Like a regular crypto asset like Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if I have that Bitcoin or this Bitcoin, they're both the same Bitcoin and they're interchangeable. What an NFT means is that, if I have, this NFT and this NFT of the same NFT, unique attributes can be applied to this certain NFT. Like for instance, its color, its rarity, who had it before me, history can be attached to it. So it's very useful in a gaming economy, and it can also be very useful in collectible art.
Okay. Is there a way for members to participate in like a node pool, so to speak, like for the people that can't afford to buy a whole node for $4,500? Is there a pool that they can join for lower?
So, I mean, it would have to be based on trust. Nothing that Gala Games currently provides can do that, but if somebody, say for instance, wanted to be, if it was like within a trusted group of friends and, they wanted to pool their money together into one account and purchase a node, then they could do that. But the person in control of the account obviously would have all the control. Um, Eventually there's going to be nodes that are going to be, very cheap and free, but they're not going to be as powerful as the nodes we're selling right now. And you might be saying to yourself, like, wow, like $4,500, that's a lot of money. But you got to understand and look at the bigger picture. Like, these nodes are increasing in value at the rate of $100 per every 100 sold. and we're selling more than 100 a day. So eventually, when we get, close to the last 100, these nodes are going to be selling for $33,000 per node. And you say to yourself, like, oh my God, like, how is anybody ever going to, purchase that? How is anybody ever going to afford that? Well, what we're seeing right now is we have people right now who are, I remember when nodes were like 1,200 bucks, 1,500 bucks, and they were like, wow, that's expensive. And then, they're looking at it now and they're saying like, wow, it's even more expensive now. But if you understand like the roadmap of what the nodes are going to be doing and the scale at which Gala Games is going to build, I mean, it's very simple if you do some math. If I have 10 million active daily users and there's a percentage of those users spending money in the game every day, which this happens. It's not like we're creating something new. People spend millions of dollars in games, not, groups of people pulled together. If you do the math, it's a $140 billion industry. People spend money. And if you have a node network processing those transactions, like what could that look like with 1 million people spending money and 50,000 nodes processing it? How about 10 million people spending money and 50,000 nodes processing those transactions, all getting a piece of that, you know? And another thing to consider is, not only that, on top of the Gala mining, that extra revenue stream from all verifying these transactions, but the node itself is going to be tokenized on the blockchain. So for instance, once these nodes become tokenized, I'll have a crypto asset that represents the node license itself. So if I today buy a node for 4,500 bucks, a year down the road, I've made my money in a bunch of coins, and I say, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to sell it. You better believe it. There's going to be a market for these nodes, especially if the last one sold for 33,000. And there's plenty of marketplaces, or well, at least there's one very popular marketplace where there's millions of dollars in volume of these in-game assets and ERC 755, I forget. ERC 1155 tokens are being traded.
I have a question about the node being tokenized.
Yeah.
If you tokenize the node, then does that mean the node can be sold or traded in pieces? Because if it's tokenized, then it should be divisible by a certain amount of decimal points.
Well, that brings us back to, really what the essence of a non-fungible token is. So non-fungible tokens remain whole. They're not divisible because, you can't take a sword or a magic sword and, break that up. Like I can't send you like 0.1 of a sword, what I mean?
Yeah.
So non-fungible tokens remain whole. That's kind of like what differentiates them apart from like traditional crypto assets.
Okay.
It's a new thing. Like, on your Facebook Live the other day, you were talking about the different trends and how me and you have been in the space since like 2016, and we've seen all these different trends with like, it was Bitcoin mining in the early days, then it switched over to like, you mentioned like CBD was like the next thing, and then it was like trading bots and things like that. And now we're looking at all this like DeFi stuff, and like this whole asset class of NFTs is really about to emerge. And this is like a pretty unique opportunity to get the foot in the door to participate. I mean, even if you don't purchase a node, you can like jump in the game for free, play Townstar, share the game with some friends, and earn some of these fountains. These fountains are NFTs that live outside of the game that can be used in the game to give you competitive advantage and also be traded on secondary markets. And it might not all make sense to you, but like, you can get involved right now for free, or if, you want to, put your money up because you believe in the decentralization of, gaming, and you take a look around and you do your due diligence on this team, right here. I mean, if you look at the caliber of the people developing this. You know, we have Eric Schermeyer here. He was a creator of Zynga. Zynga, if you guys remember Facebook on the early days, they're the guys that did Words with Friends, Mafia Wars, Farmville, Farmville 2, you know, all those types of games that really pioneered the free-to-play space around the same time Facebook was. They had the second biggest IPO besides Google. They IPO'd for $10 billion back in the day, and you know, they've been building AAA games, and they've been in that space for a multitude of years. We have Michael McCarthy here. He was a creative director of Farmville, and he also was involved in a lot of other, you know, classic RPG games. So it's not like, you know, it's not like these guys just woke up one day and decided to build games. They have a portfolio of profitable mass adoptive games, you know, in their portfolio, and that's what they really plan to do with you know, I tell people sometimes, and I'll say one more thing because I'm sure Sean has some more questions. This is like the best way I can describe like what owning a node could do. Like, just imagine back in the day before everybody had a cell phone in their pocket. All right, just imagine you get a knock on your door. Say you have a little bit of property and you get a knock on the door, and it's like, it's AT&T, and they're like, hey, we're building this like cell phone network. And you're like, huh, what's a cell phone? Because nobody had them. And they say, well, we're building this like, you know, decentralized network of cell phone towers, and we want to lease out a square of your property to put basically a node in our network. And we're going to pay you royalties for the rest of your life as long as we have this lease. And you reluctantly agree because you don't really understand, but you know, you can understand getting paid. Just imagine, you know, where those people are right now and how much that's changed their life. Being a part of the early days of, you know, cell phone network technology. And that's like how I view owning a node. It's like, you might not understand it right now because it hasn't gone mainstream, but there's going to come a time when regular traditional gaming is obsolete. Nobody's going to want to play a game where you waste your time and money and don't get anything in return. This is the direction that games are going. If games can be built comparable to what's out there right now, or even better, but players can retain ownership of their assets, then it's a no-brainer where gamers are going to go. Okay? So it's like, would you rather just be stuck on a landline phone, or would you rather have a cell phone in your back pocket? It's a no-brainer. And I look at this a lot like that. It might not make sense right now, but it's a direction of where it's going, and a huge industry is about to be disrupted and decentralized, and Gala Games is in a unique position to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff. Little difficult to comprehend it all, but I mean, I kind of think I kind of get it. Now, I had a question about you. You mentioned this thing about people being able to start playing the game and getting these things called fountains, which are worth money. Now, how can someone join this thing for free, start playing the game, acquire a fountain, and then sell it? And how much can they sell it for?
So I'll show you exactly how that works. So you need a referral link. You can get one off Sean. I'm sure he'll have one down in the comments, or message him on social media. He'll give you a referral link. So once you're in and you create your wallet, you know, you're brought to the home page right here. Okay. And you can very simply go to, well, first, let me show you this. We'll go over to the social tab and I'll show you how this works. Townstar rewards. Click more info. So this kind of shows you refer friends to win rewards in Townstar. Okay, so if you share and get one referral to play Townstar, you get one of these Alpha Fountain OKs. If you get 10 referrals, you get an Alpha Fountain Good. And it goes up and up. 50 referrals, Alpha Fountain Great. 100 referrals, Alpha Fountain Majestic. And the good news is, guys, you don't need to sell anything. You just need to get somebody to play a free game. No risk. So I'll show you exactly how these fountains work in the game and how you could actually sell the fountains for real cryptocurrency if you wanted to. So let's head over here. Head over to Townstar. I'll show you how a fountain works in a game. This is our first of many games. This is a farm simulation game. It's deceptively hard to play. It looks like a kid's game, but don't let it fool you. This game will break you. So it's loading up right now. Play now. I'll just pick any spot, it doesn't matter. Place your town here, enter your name. We'll just go JT, John Tatro. Click OK. Okay, so when you first start out, let me turn the volume down a little. You get a little town, you have a farmer here, he's plucking wheat. So what I can do, the fountains I own, I want to be clear, the fountains I own exist outside of the game in my wallet. This is a representation of what's in my wallet. So I can go ahead and place this fountain right here, okay? And what that does is it passively waters my crops and it gives me a competitive advantage in the game. You see how those crops turn green and instantly grew? That saves me time and gives me a competitive advantage because normally if I didn't have my fountain here, this guy, that farmer would have to go to the well, walk over and water the crops. And, you know, there's different varieties of crops that sometimes take tons of water. So having these fountains, it saves time within the game, especially when you're dealing with a weekly competition where there's gala prizes at stake. You know, having these fountains, referring friends and gathering these fountains and using them to build your town and you know, make crops more easily is a sweet competitive advantage that can really help you. Now, I can return this right to my inventory. Okay, and it's stored inside my blockchain wallet outside the game. You have this for life. You can never lose it. There's no way to lose it. So let's go over here. I want to show you OpenCio. OpenCio is a secondary marketplace. Let me give it a refresh here. OpenCio is a secondary decentralized marketplace. Let's give Townstar a search. I was looking up Miranda's homesteads. My computer's running slow today, Sean. Let's give it a sec here.
So what's the lowest amount that or the first fountain? How much does that one sell for?
Well, I want to take a look because I haven't, you know, to be honest, I don't know because I'm holding on to a lot of these stuff. Like, you know, I've been gathering from the get-go. I haven't sold anything because I think and I believe that, you know, once we onboard like, you know, hundreds of thousands to maybe millions of users, it creates this demand on the limited supply of items we have. So I've really been holding out and selling, but I can very easily take a look over here and you know, take a look. So here you go. Here's an Alpha Fountain Majestic. Okay, let's take a look at that. This is one of the better of the fountains. So let's go look here. Let's look at the history of it. Where are we? All right, so these are listings and these are offers. There might have not been any offers. Oh, here we go. So here's a sale. The last one sold for 30,000 Gala. So if we just take a look at that, you know, type in 30,000. So about 500 bucks one of those sold for. Now, obviously that's the better fountain. I think that might have been the 100 referral fountain. So I can assume that the 50 referral fountain would sell for like 250, you know, and the lesser ones maybe 50 or 100.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find one of the smaller ones so I can give you like a more realistic, you know, because, you know, anybody can come in and, you know, get their buddy to play. Let's see what you can get for, these are all Townstar items. All of these items are distributed to the node network. And that's another thing that's really like underrated. Okay, here we go. Isn't Alpha Fountain good? I think that's the second level one for 10 referrals. Let's take a look at the price history of like what these are trading for. So it looks like there's some listing. So actually this one sold for $35,000. So I think that's a little over 500 bucks.
So
Looks
10 referrals and you could potentially make 500 bucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
And that's
possible
just for playing the game. Do you just get them to play the game?
just for playing the game, and that's it. I mean, obviously, there has to be a way for people not to game the system, because potentially what you can have is like some guy come in and just make 100 accounts, but there's a catch to it. Like people started doing that. People are slick. They try to think of any way they can game the system. So it's not just getting a friend to play the game. They actually have to like prove that they're actually playing the game. And so what's required is they need to actually play the game for a few minutes for 3 days straight. So each day they need to log in and actually play the game. You know, maybe make a trade, put some stuff, pick some wheat, sell some wheat, you know, and then X out of it, and then come back the next day. And then by the third day, the system recognizes and says, hey, this person's not trying to game the system. They're not a robot. So let's count that referral. So not only are you going to be getting that fountain, you actually get 100 Gala. I mean, it's $2 right now at current Gala price, but it's free. You know, you can trade it for other cryptocurrencies if you want. You saw the marketplaces we were trading on.
Yeah,
OpenCio.
it had over $1 million in trade volume in just the last 24 hours.
Yep, absolutely.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else that people should know about, you know, how to earn money with this thing?
Um, so right now there's a lot of different ways that are going to be coming up, because the main goal really is Gala Games, you know, wants to keep themselves off the Play Store and the App Store, and they don't want to give Apple and Google money and Facebook money. What they want to do is they really want to reward the players for doing that stuff, incentivize the players. So there's going to be tons of different ways to make money. The 100 Gala you get for referring a player, there was talks about that actually increasing. So you can get the 100 Gala, you can get fountains. If you don't want to buy a node yourself, if you refer somebody who buys a node, you get like something like over like 10,000 Gala right now, which is like, I think it's over like 200 bucks, you know? So there's plenty of ways to make money without even putting anything into this game. But, you know, if you understand the ecosystem and you can see the long-term vision, and you know, you have the money and you want to take the risk, you know, obviously do your due diligence. But you know, I think buying a node, if you have the ability to do it, is the way to go, because in the long run, it's going to be the most lucrative.
Okay. All right. Well, that was all the questions I had at this point.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing all that.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll leave a link in the description of this video where you can join Gala Games and start playing for free and also referring people.
And you know, if you guys need more info, you know, definitely reach out to Sean or me. We'll help you out. We have a Discord chat. Our whole community hangs out. Once you make your free account, you can jump right in through our social media links. Look, I'll show you where it is. Here, let me back up out of here. So once you make a Gala account, you know, no cost, totally free. Right up top here, you can click Join Discord. That brings you over to a messaging app where all the developers are, a huge community. There's like 12,000 of us, all talking about nodes, crypto, you know, talking about decentralization, talking about the game Townstar, you know, dreaming and building about the future. And, you know, we're all kind of have the same mission. It's a great bunch of people. So I look forward to seeing you guys there.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.